It's Elias AK-47 roaming live from the gutter, and you're listening to the OTS Project. Shots will be fired.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OTS Project, episode 18. Theo, my boy, my cousin.
I thought we were just gonna stop
What's
at
going
8.
on?
I was like, we're only on 8. I feel like we've done a few more than 8.
No, yeah, we're getting close to 20. We're getting close to 20.
Oh,
So,
20.
yes, sir. So, what's going on with you?
Nothing much. I've been feeling a lot better. I've been coughing a little bit less. If I do still cough, I do apologize to the viewers, especially headphone users. It's just something I'm kind of trying to get over here. Going back to the work, going back to gym, all that good stuff. What else have I been doing? What have I been watching? I've been watching. I don't know if you know about this. I may have told you about this before, but this is a very niche interest of mine that I've been kind of rewatching recently.
Mhm.
But it is a web series that has been like created by YouTubers over like 10 years ago, called Video Game High School.
Oh,
It's
man.
it's super silly and funny and goofy, but it's such a good show. It's so good.
I watched that show when it came out. I remember watching it when it dropped, I believe. So yeah, I am aware of the show because I remember that show dropped probably what, 2014, 2015, something like
2014,
that.
2015, like somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching it, I believe, when it was like coming out.
Right. It's so good though. I've been enjoying the rewatch so much. I feel like I've rewatched it so much to the point where I'm like, I will start like reciting lines and stuff like that they say in the show, and I'm like, this is great. It's
Nice.
super entertaining. I love it. That's what I've been getting into this week.
Hell yeah. Anything else?
No, not really.
All
That's
right.
pretty much been it. Pretty casual week.
On my end, just been hanging out. I have restarted or started replaying for the millionth time GTA 5. It's happening
Okay.
again. I mean, I feel like I don't know how many times you've played the story, but I feel like it's a good amount of times that you've probably
I think
played
I've
that
done
story.
maybe like 3 times, I think.
Okay. I feel like at this point for me, it's like a yearly tradition at some point that I'm just going to play the story mode of GTA 5. So I have probably played through the story mode of GTA 5 like at least probably like 7 times now over the years compared
Right.
to obviously to playing it on the PS3, then playing it on the PS4 and things like that, and however many times I've replayed it on the PS3 and the PS4. But yeah, that trailer, man, it just got me too excited. It got me too hyped. I wanted to go, get back into that world a little bit. So yeah, I started yesterday, so.
Speaking of replaying stuff, I've gotten back, or I literally just like started getting back to like before we started like recording. I've started getting back into Animal Crossing, which has been very fun.
Hell yeah.
I'm enjoying that a lot.
So yeah, I've been replaying GTA. I started yesterday. I'm already at the part with Trevor and him. I think the last mission I did last night
You're
was.
going through it.
Oh yeah, I think the last mission I did was him officially coming to Los Santos, which is such a small, like such a random, not random, but like not a very eventful mission. But I love that mission because it's just Trevor just like going through his thoughts, and then that one part where you kind of stop on the hill and get out and you like look at the city and shit. I just love that part. I think it's so cool. So yeah, I'm flying through it. I'm having fun, and I do plan on playing. Like we have a year and some change, but pretty much a year until GTA 6 comes out. So I do plan on replaying it again next year around the same time, because around the same time next year it will be like 2 weeks away from GTA 6 coming out. So I do plan on playing it again right before 6 comes out and kind of saying goodbye. I feel like over the years there's probably going to be parts where we might go back and play the GTA 5 story again and whatnot, just because even still today people go back and play the GTA 4 stories and whatnot. But it is gonna kind of be a goodbye of sorts for us with Los Santos. So we're definitely gonna have to hop online and stuff like that as well.
Oh
But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been watching obviously The Last of Us. So I have re-downloaded. I haven't started it yet, but I have re-downloaded The Last of Us Part 2 because I got it when it came out. I played a little bit of it, but I never finished it. I know how it starts. I know what happens with Joel and whatnot, and I know how it ends. But there's parts of the story that I don't know because I didn't finish it. So as I'm watching the show, I'm like, I kind of want to go and try and play the game and so play the game and finish it, so I know the whole story. So now when I continue to watch season 2 of the show, I know like what's fully coming and whatnot. So yeah, but the show in general has been great. Isabella Merced is my new celebrity crush from Madam Web, really. But she seems incredible. She's a great actress. She seems like a really nice girl, and she's very beautiful. So yeah, I've been enjoying watching the show every week. Everyone's doing a great job. But I will say that show, as I ramble on, that show is horribly miscast. If I'm being completely honest with you, the cast is great. Bella Ramsey is great. Pedro Pascal is great. Isabella Merced is great. But none of the characters in the show look like the characters in the game at all. It's pretty crazy. They got good actors and they're giving good performances, but physically they horribly have miscast this show. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing is playing GTA, and when I'm done with GTA, I'm probably gonna hop into The Last of Us Part 2 so I can get the full story. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I did. Oh, I have kind of. This goes along with my new celebrity crush here, but I kind of dove through Isabel Merced's filmography a little bit the past couple days and watched some other movies that she's been in and whatnot. So I've also done that. I've been watching a lot of movies and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of all I've done for the past week.
Mm-hmm. As well as all the Star Wars stuff that's been coming out the past week, with May the 4th and everything like that.
That's true. That's
Tales
true.
of the Underworld and Andor and all that stuff.
So speaking of that, let's jump into our news real quick. So first off, I saw this the other day. I don't know how true it is, but I believe it was reported by Variety or something like that, like a pretty big notable news source, that Ryan Reynolds, obviously Deadpool, is in the middle or is starting writing an X-Men team up movie that I guess he obviously plans on pitching to Marvel Studios. So this isn't confirmed, obviously, that there's going to be this huge X-Men Deadpool team up movie. It's not confirmed, but I did put it here because I thought it was interesting and could possibly be confirmed if Disney or Marvel Studios decides to pick up his script. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of interesting. Unfortunately, though, we did get some. As my phone is blowing up here, we got some unfortunate news. We got some releases within the world of the WWE. Theo, you got the full list. If you could read off.
I do have the full list here. Some very big ones and some very unfortunate ones as well. We got Braun Strowman, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Riley Osborne, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Wolfgang, Oro Mensa, and Javier Bernal.
All right, so that's your list of people that were unfortunately the past week released from WWE. So yeah, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
It's always unfortunate, but I won't lie. This is something that, if you're a WWE fan, you kind of get accustomed to. That in the past couple of years, they went overboard with the pandemic and stuff, and they were releasing like 10 people every 2 months or something like that. That's not something we were used to, but what we are kind of used to is the post WrestleMania cuts. They've done that for years before the pandemic, where about a week or two after WrestleMania, they kind of release a few people. It's happened for years. That's how Drew McIntyre originally got released in like 2015 or whatever. Like it's been a thing for years that they do. So it's definitely something that is not surprising, but it is surprising in a way because you never want to see anybody lose their job, obviously, especially people that you really like. So for me, Cora Jade is someone I really like, but Dakota Kai is the big one for me. She's one of my favorite wrestlers, and so that one probably hurts the most for me, especially because she's been through it before, where she got released in like 2022. And Triple H was the first person that Triple H brought back when he kind of took over. So pretty unfortunate, as well as like she had been on TV. She was in the inaugural finals of the IC title. She literally like just got a new theme song like 2 months ago. So they were kind of investing in her. So it is kind of surprising to see her go. Braun Strowman is somebody that I'm not like a huge fan of Braun Strowman, but I respect the man, and he's been there for years. He's always been a good hand for the company, done whatever they needed, especially this past year. He's getting, he's kind of older. His knees are kind of, not in the best shape, I guess you could say. So I think he understands kind of the spot he's in. So the past year where he's helped put over people like Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed and stuff, he's done his job. So again, that's somebody who you know, again, like I don't know if he plans on continuing to wrestle because his body is kind of beat up, but definitely somebody that you would have saw maybe transition into like a Big E role where he would have been on, you know, kind of the kickoff shows or things like that. I would have definitely somebody that I would have thought would have been in WWE for life, even if he's not wrestling, you know. Um, and yeah, Cora Jade is somebody who I thought was really good. I really enjoy her work and whatnot, especially obviously when she was teaming up with Roxanne. And yeah, I thought she again. I'm surprised that she got released. Like she was being used on TNA, and I to a point where I almost thought they were gonna maybe even put the TNA Knockouts title on her and make this huge kind of moment of an NXT superstar winning the Knockouts title, which didn't end up happening. But she was pretty heavily used in TNA there, as well as recently was pretty heavily used in NXT. They did that whatever the show was before Stand and Deliver, whatever the takeover was before. They did like the Bailey versus Julia versus Cora versus Roxanne match or whatever it was. Like they use her pretty frequently, so to see her go is also surprising. To see Jakara and Oro go is also sad. I loved Metaphor. I love Metaphor. They were awesome. And part of me wonders if Shawn Michaels knew what was coming because, like, the week before they got released on NXT, they broke Metaphor up and had, like, this really emotional backstage segment. So part of me is wondering if Shawn Michaels kind of knew what was coming and wanted to at least give those two a send-off or something like that. But yeah, same thing where I love Oro Mensah. I think he's awesome in the ring. He does that like backflip kick from the top rope or when someone's on, like just great in the ring. And I thought he definitely should have gotten a lot more. And Jakara Jackson as well. She I thought has huge upside. She was very talented. I think everybody thought her and Lash were pretty much main roster bound very soon because they had been on the main roster. They did I think like Crown Jewel or something like that a couple months ago, and they kept making appearances and stuff. So yeah, I figured that they would be on Raw or SmackDown, not broken up and one of them gets released. Yeah, Riley Osborne is someone I also really liked, and Chase U and whatnot. So yeah, just in general, I don't want to ramble. I have already done it, but very unfortunate. But also, I'll let you give your thoughts on it first, and then I'll continue on.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of unfortunate ones, like you said, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, also another one that I was a little bit unfortunate about because I mean, even though she was in the what was it, fucking Pure Fusion Collective or whatever the fuck that shit was, she was always like easily my favorite member of that. I think she's always been pretty talented.
She never really got her chance either. Like, she never really got a shot
Dakota,
on the main
I don't
roster.
think ever really got like a true chance to really show off what they could do, and now it doesn't seem like
like
they're going to be able to.
Shayna did that. She showed up on the main roster, did that angle with Becky, and got a WrestleMania match, but it was the COVID WrestleMania with nobody there. And then after that, she just kind of never got any opportunity ever.
Yeah. Also, a few weird ones considering like circumstances and whatnot. Eddie Thorpe, who was like just like a major player in NXT like a few months ago and has now just been completely released. Right. I don't really know if I understand that one or not. I feel like with how abysmal or just lacking of quality the women's tag team division has been overall throughout WWE has been, I feel like getting rid of Katana Chance and King Carter, who is like an actual like legitimate tag team, is a bit of a weird one. Especially also with like Gigi Dolan and what she's been doing with Tatum Paxley with like the whole like Chemical X or whatever that is. That team was so sick. I watched that one match at the like not takeover pre-show, but like the pre-show for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah,
that match was amazing. I think they did an incredible job, and just to get released right after is incredibly crazy.
And
I
like
feel very bad
3 or 4 girls that were in that match are now released. So
yeah, and it's like you think with like where the women's tag team division is at nowadays, you think you would keep those people so you can build them up and build up a better tag team division, but apparently I'm in the wrong here, and I don't understand that. But I mean, I feel like a lot of the people here that have been released are pretty talented and pretty good, and it's unfortunate to see them go.
Right. I do want to add too, because I don't think she was technically released. Because I think she's still under contract, but she's about to be no longer under contract. Is Shotzi?
Yes.
Where she didn't get released, but I believe her contract expires in June, and WWE already told her that they're not renewing her contract. So basically, you're under contract, but once that date comes, she will no longer be with the company. So that's another one that will no longer be there. Who's incredible, great talent. Again, never really got an opportunity, and like you said, I loved the Chemical X thing with her, Gigi,
Her
and
as a
Tatum. I thought it
manager,
was
I was like,
incredible.
that's so. I'm very much so behind that for
Yeah,
sure.
I thought that stuff was incredible. But yeah, my last little thing here, though, I will say it is unfortunate, but on the bright side, if there is a bright side here, I do see a lot of these people landing on their feet. I already saw reports that Dakota Kai has heavy interest from places that clearly want her, so I could easily see her going to AEW or TNA. I don't watch AEW weekly, but if Dakota Kai goes to AEW, I may be tuning in to whatever show she's on, whether she's on Collision or
Right.
Dynamite. I may actually be watching one of those shows every week because I just love her so much. I think she's incredible. So I obviously want to see her continue to do her job. Cora Jade is someone. I laugh because it's funny. We're gonna talk about this on our damn podcast. But I already saw she people have been posting. She's got her OnlyFans ready to go for when she's able to post on it or whatever. So I'm like, that girl's gonna make crazy money on that
Right.
on that OnlyFans. So good for her. She's gonna be another. I don't know if she's gonna go to the extremes that Mandy Rose went, but another Mandy Rose situation where she's probably just day one gonna be a millionaire. So good for her. So yeah, someone like Shotzi as well, who's just kind of a badass and whatnot. I can already see that she's gonna land somewhere. Again, Braun Strowman, I feel like I don't know how long he wants to continue to wrestle, but he definitely has a place somewhere. Whether it's wrestling or backstage stuff or commentary or something, he definitely can still have a role within the world of professional wrestling. Someone like a Riley Osborne who may not be immediately picked up by a company because he's not super popular, but that's definitely somebody that I'm sure is going to continue to wrestle and is very talented. So I could see him definitely on the indies. He's definitely going to be a hot commodity where people are going to want to use him because he's very talented, especially in Florida. Listen, I've been in the wrestling business in Florida, and I know that when people kind of get released that don't have a huge name, they definitely are looking for work in Florida. So I could see a lot of companies here in Florida that are probably going to utilize someone like a Riley Osborne or Oro Mensa or even an Eddie Thorpe who live in Orlando. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not a far drive for them to do a show in Tampa or something like that. So I'm sure a lot of Florida companies will be using some of the smaller named talent that got released. But yeah, overall very unfortunate. But I do see that I think I was saying this to myself as I continue to ramble on. Getting released now is not like getting released 10 years ago. Like you get released like 10 years ago or so, social media was not as big. There was no AEW, so it's like if you got released back in the day, you had no social media to promote yourself. You had no OnlyFans or anything like that to try and make money on the side. You had no AEW, so you had to hope that either New Japan or TNA was interested in you. But mainly, yeah, there was really no like social media, so it's hard to, it was hard to, if you got released, it could have felt like a death sentence for sure because it's hard to, it's definitely hard to build your brand up, without a social media and things like that. So yeah, someone that gets released 10, 12 years ago, it definitely could have felt like a death sentence because you're going, neither TNA or New Japan are calling me and I can't build up my brand, so I have to go do the indies and I don't know how well this is going to work. But in today's day and age, it's still not great, but there's still possibilities. And again, there's things like Patreons and OnlyFans where, some of these people can make some money on the side at least so they don't have to, go work at Target and try and manage how they're wrestling and they have to manage working at Target as well or something like that. And in general, yeah, you could just you have more opportunities to build up your brand and stay in the spotlight a little bit more. So again, it still sucks, but a lot of these people I feel like will definitely land on their feet. Even like Dakota Kai, when she was in WWE, she would do like Twitch streams every once in a while, but the schedule kind of was hard. Now, obviously, her schedule's freed up, so I could see her jumping on Twitch for sure and doing a lot more streams. I know Eddie Thorpe is with her; they're together, so could easily see him jumping on Twitch as well if she helps him get into that world. Like, there's definitely possibilities to still, flourish and make money and still be popular. So yeah, so let's move in to something else because we've been talking about this a lot. We don't have a lot of news here per se, but we do have a lot of stuff to talk about in our kind of discussion thing. So, quick thing I do want to add, because I don't have too much info on it. Disney has announced their newest theme park that's going to be in Abu Dhabi. Very left field. This was something that nobody that I saw speculated on. I'm not like super into the theme park world, but I follow enough people that I probably would have seen rumors of it. Didn't see anything about it. Woke up the other day and just saw this huge announcement from Disney Parks that they were going to be opening their first new park in like over like 10 or 20 years. I think like 20 something years. And it's going to be in Abu Dhabi. I know a lot of people. There's a lot of mixed feelings on this. Obviously, there's some people that are excited. I saw the concept art of the castle, and it doesn't even look like a castle. It just looks like a giant like ice spear. Don't like that. It looks pretty shitty. But I know there's a lot of people that are not too happy about this. I know within Abu Dhabi, it's they're very strict, and there's a lot of rules, and there's a lot of I'm trying to find the perfect way to word this. Like, they're not very LGBTQ friendly, and you have a lot of cast members that are in that world, as well as you have a lot of Disney fans that are, a part of that world. Like Disney in general is very big in the LGBTQ kind of universe, I guess you could say, or area. Like I said, a lot of cast members are there. A lot of fans of Disney are there. And so if you're opening a theme park, sorry as I spray spiders, there's like a spider infestation, bro, going on over here.
For context, he's been spraying and trying to kill spiders since like 10 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah, well, like a week ago, even last week, I was like, let me spray this damn spider. But this one was getting kind of close. He was kind of close to my leg. I didn't want to risk it. Okay, so yeah, sorry. So when you have a lot of people that are kind of in that area of the LGBTQ stuff, and then you kind of, there's another spider right here, right next to me. Literally sitting right next to me. Die, man, die. This damn bug spray. Alright. So yeah. A lot of people are not happy because of the fact that cast members don't know if they'll be able to, like, and I don't know how it works, but if you're a cast member that is gay, and you get told by Disney, hey, we're transferring you to our new park in Abu Dhabi, where you can't be gay, I don't know how well that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems, it seems like it's a recipe for disaster. And also a lot of fans are upset because they are not going to feel safe or comfortable traveling to a place where they can't be themselves to enjoy something they love. So that's not fun. The concept art kind of looks like shit, and I don't like that prospect that people, can't be themselves somewhere to enjoy something they love or to do their damn job. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I don't have a lot of info on it, but from the looks of it, I'm not a big fan of this. And for someone that's a WB fan, a lot of Disney fans I haven't seen talk about this, but for someone that's a WB fan, I've seen like the Saudi Arabia stuff and them doing shows over there, and basically, Saudi Arabia is paying for it and whatnot. So I'm like, is this a thing where, the government of Abu Dhabi is basically confronting or going to Disney and saying, hey, we're going to front the bill for this. We just want to park here with the Disney brand on it. Maybe that's the case, and maybe that's why Disney did it, because it's not going to cost them anything, or it's not going to cost them what it normally would. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. But, yeah, not a big fan of that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to kill another spider. Hold on.
I think these spiders are coming from Abu Dhabi. I think that's what they're trying.
Maybe.
They're trying to
take me out. Trying to take me out, man. I'm going to have to move my setup away from this damn window so I don't get bitten by spiders and shit.
There you go.
So yeah, we have two little things we want to review. But I do want to say there is a GTA 6 trailer that dropped. So I do want to talk about that real quick and just say we know it exists. We have seen it. But we're going to make a whole bonus episode on that immediately following this. So we're not going to talk about it much here. We know it's there. We've seen it. We're super excited. We both can't wait. It's going to be the biggest game ever. But yeah, we're going to do a whole bonus episode breaking down the trailer, as well as all the info that they put on the website and things like that. So yeah, we know that exists. We know it's a thing. But yeah, we're going to do a whole bonus episode. So make sure you go to our YouTube to see that because it's probably going to be up before this episode actually. Because when we do a bonus episode, I normally can get that up first, and then I get the normal pod up. But two things to review here. As the past week we have kind of gotten Star Wars Day, or kind of Star Wars Week in a way. With May the 4th, things like that. Quick note: we did show Theo's sister Rachel. We have begun her journey down Star Wars. I think we may have said it last week or something like that. Similar to my sister, she never cared about Star Wars. I grew up watching Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars my whole life. She never cared, didn't want anything to do with it. And a couple years ago, she finally said, hey, let's sit down and watch Star Wars. And now she's somewhat of a Star Wars fan. So we kind of did the same thing with his sister Rachel, where she had never really seen Star Wars, although Theo constantly had Star Wars stuff playing as a kid. So yeah, we finally, last weekend, we were able to sit her down, and we started with the prequels and whatnot, and we filmed it. It is on my YouTube channel. I figured it fits more on my channel than the OTS channel. So it's on my channel at Kyle Bridger, if you want to go see that. So yeah, we filmed that, got her reaction to the prequels. We started with the prequels, so we did the first three. And this weekend we can't continue because you guys have plans, but hopefully next weekend we can continue on and we could start with the original trilogy and show her that. So yeah, definitely go check that out and stay tuned for the rest. We're going to show her the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and then I think we're going to watch Rogue One in Solo, so she's seen all the movies and whatnot. But yeah, so we got Tales of the Underworld on May the 4th. Theo, I'm going to let you start because this is probably more your realm, because this is probably two characters you care more about.
Baby. This is my bag of beans right here. This is my shit.
Right, go for it.
I
my
think
dog is
this one
scratching herself.
Yeah. This, I think of the three tales so far that we've gotten between Jedi, Empire, and Underworld, I think this one's definitely my favorite. I think they've done a very good job of building up both the characters of Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane, both of which are very great characters in my eyes. Cad Bane, obviously one of my favorite characters, so anything with him in it, I'm very much so excited and happy about. But I think they've done a very good job of building those characters up even more, and especially with, like, Dark Disciple is, like, one of my favorite Star Wars books in, like, the whole of, like, canon and whatnot. And so them being able to finally build off of that, because it's been, like, a year since those, like, last Bad Batch episodes came out with her in it, and I've always just kind of held a little bit of a grudge with Dave Filoni, because it, like, almost, like, pretty much kicked that book out of canon, that she, like, died and then came back, but it, like, was never explained, so I was like, okay, I guess that book's not canon anymore, but now they finally found a way to, like, explain it, and I'm like, at least the book is canon now, I can forgive you, Dave Filoni. But I very much so enjoyed a lot of the episodes, especially with, like, Cad Bane. Very, very good. I very much so enjoyed it, especially with, like, the whole, like, turmoil with, like, him and his, like, best friend and his, like girlfriend, and, like, now he has, like, this son, but he can't, like, accept him and everything like that. Like, there's a lot of good stuff being written here, and it definitely, like, explains how Cad Bane becomes what he becomes, as well as explains where Asajj Ventress has been since, like, the end of the Clone Wars and things like that. I very much so enjoyed it.
Okay. All right. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but this was my least favorite of the tales.
Why are you getting so
I just wanted to make it dramatic, dude. I'm pretty sure I got bit by a spider. That's probably why. Yeah, this is my least favorite of the tales. I thought this shit fucking sucked. I ain't gonna lie, man. My favorite out of the tales is Tales of the Jedi. I thought that was very well done. And I enjoyed Tales of the Empire. I liked seeing the story of where Barriss was and things like that. This shit felt like they just needed to throw something together to me. I don't want to be too negative. I don't want to become Star Wars theory here. But I was not a fan. Maybe because I don't have much connection to Ventress other than just, like, she was part of my childhood, but not in, like, a huge way. You know what I'm saying? It was more just like, oh yeah, she's just a character I know about. And Cad Bane may be my least favorite character in all of Star Wars. I know he's one of your favorites, but
that's crazy.
I cannot stand that character. So, yeah, I thought the Ventress stuff, I felt like there was nothing there. I felt like it was just, like, filler. Like, nothing, in those 3 episodes, nothing happened. There was no, like, what was, I don't know, maybe I'm just being an asshole, but I'm like, what was the point of this? It didn't explain anything other than she came back to life. That's all it explained, which was cool. And I thought that was awesome with the scene with Quinlan and Obi-Wan and Mother Talzin. I thought that was great. That was probably my favorite part, which is funny because it's literally the first minute of the whole show. But yeah, other than finding out she survived, nothing else happened in those 3 episodes that meant anything. Like when you look at Tales of the Jedi, it explains like Dooku. It shows Dooku as a master with Qui-Gon, and then it shows his downfall. It shows him going to the dark side. You see the gap and the bridge between episode 1 and 2, and how he turns to the dark side. Tales of the Empire, it shows you where Barriss was. She was an Inquisitor. She goes against that and things like that. So you finally figure out what happened with her. With this, again, other than that one side thing of she came back to life, everything else that happened in her episodes, there was nothing. It was just like Ventress is on a fun adventure with this little kid. Like I was expecting like, who is this kid? Maybe this kid turned out to be Baylan Skoll. Maybe this kid is a character we know. Something like that. I was expecting some big reveal. I was expecting somehow Ventress has something to do with the path, and she helped build up the path, and she reunites with Quinlan. Something. But it just felt like there was nothing. It just felt like a filler arc in Clone Wars that gave me no juiciness. There was no details. There was no drama to it. Especially where her whole kind of thing was, I want to kind of get back to Quinlan. I want to find Quinlan. And at the end, she's just like, whatever. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, she had the opportunity to leave that planet and go find the path and hopefully find her lover. And she kind of just like, it's all right. I'm good. Like, I don't know. I just felt like those 3 episodes, nothing happened other than just the fact that we know that she survived. So that was very disappointing to me. I would have liked some more juicy details.
I will give you a little bit of credit. It does feel a bit fillery. I do think that there's a lot of things they could have done where they like reunited her with Quinlan. I think Mother Talzin said at the very beginning of that whole like bringing her back to life shit that like she can bring her back to life, but it's gonna come at a cost. And I think that may have to do with something of like maybe she can't meet Quinlan because she's alive now because of some sort of like Night Sister curse or some shit. I don't know. Night Sister shit is always complicated. It's always witch related shit. So there's obviously gonna be some sort of strings attached to it and stuff like that. But maybe where they could have gone instead is maybe like, I don't know, kind of shown us. I get that it's like an underworld thing, and obviously that's going to be the focus of like all these episodes and whatnot. But like, I feel like where they could go with this is maybe like she and that kid maybe become sort of like a master and apprentice sort of kind of thing. I think that could be cool to see, and maybe build that up. I don't know where they could possibly fit that in the future of Star Wars or where Star Wars is going right now as like a whole. But like, I think there's definitely something to be written there.
I do agree with you there, and I saw a lot of people talking about it to where, there normally is some sort of animated show going on. We obviously have Clone Wars, you had Rebels, you had Resistance, you had Bad Batch. So chances are, and animation within Star Wars is so important, and obviously Dave Filoni knows that because that's where he started, you know what I'm saying? And other than Resistance, he's basically been like the creative head of all of these shows. So I do feel like there is, I don't know exactly what it is, but I do feel like there is a full-length kind of animated show that probably is in the works to follow Bad Batch. Whether that's a Ventress-centered show or it's something that's centered on different characters or something like that, but she's involved. I do think that this isn't the end of like seeing Ventress's character. I think whatever animated series comes next, whether it's a Ventress series or a series about the path or something, I do think that this was kind of like a teaser, you know what I'm saying? Like here's some crumbs, and in our next animated show, whatever that may be, we'll see, more of Ventress's story and where she ends up or where this kid ends up and things like that.
I may have just gotten an idea or maybe like a little connection. Could this path be related to the story in Jedi Survivor where they're also trying to find like this hidden planet with hidden Jedi on it and stuff like that? There might be a connection there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You muted, but if I don't know if it muted for the actual stream or just me, but he was saying in Jedi Survivor there is that planet that Cal and Marin go to. Well, obviously we know that the path is from the Kenobi show, and that Quinlan was involved and whatnot. That was a heavy part of the Kenobi show. But that was something I think I even thought about when playing Jedi Survivor was, do we think that like I remember playing Jedi Survivor and being like, I wonder if the path has something to do with this, and when people are going through the path, if they end up going to this. What the hell? What? It was like a planet in another universe or some shit. Like it was a planet in
It
like a
wasn't in the
wormhole.
universe. It was like in like some sort of like fucking maelstrom or some
Right.
shit.
It was like in a
We'll get
wormhole
into
or
that.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I.e., nobody can get here unless you know the way or whatever. Kind of like an
Right.
extra goal thing. You
Like,
have
need
to
like
know.
a fucking wayfinder to get there or some shit.
Right. Something like that. So yeah, I think that would be cool. I don't know if that was the original intention, but I would hope that maybe whoever is in charge of the direction of where that path of the story goes looks at Jedi Survivor and goes, "Wow, this lines up perfectly. Where we already have a place now that all these people can go to, that the Empire can't really get to." So I would hope so. But yeah, continuing on though, because I didn't like the Venture stuff, the Cad Bane stuff, I did like more. Like I thought the story was there because it does fill in the stuff, and it shows Cad Bane's whole backstory essentially. I will say originally when like his mentor showed up and there was the two kids, I thought the mentor was just Cad Bane, and he was like, this was a story about, like, I thought it was like a story about Cad Bane like mentoring these two kids and something goes wrong or something like that. And then it was like probably halfway through episode 2 where I realized like, no, Cad Bane is the little kid. So yeah, the story was better than the adventure stuff because at least it had some sort of drama to it. But I don't know, man. I just don't think I like Cad Bane. I think when I look at his decisions, I just totally disagree with every decision this man makes. Like, and I feel like they're preventable decisions. Like, I understand he's a hard ass, and I understand he's, this desperado badass. But sometimes I'm just like, all right, dude, like, just let it go. Like, let it go, move on. It is what it is. And he's like, no, I gotta go kill that guy. I have to. Like, he shows up and he's like, I'm gonna kill the guy that killed my mentor. And I'm like, bro, maybe just go do something else. Like, it's I understand, but like, you're just setting yourself up on a path for nothing but fucking up. Especially once he finds out that like his best friend is like the head cop at this point. I'm like, dude, just go to another planet. Just let it go. Just let it go. And he's like, no, I got to kill that guy. I have to. When your girlfriend is like, please, Cad, just let it go. We have a life together. No, I got to kill that guy. I'm just like, dude, you suck. You're a horrible character.
Your Cad Bane impression is fucking hilarious.
So yeah, the story was definitely better, but I think more so just personally, I was just like, man, Cad Bane's a fucking idiot, man. Just move on with your life. Like, I understand it. I understand the grief. I've lived it firsthand. But like, it gets to a point, dude, where you gotta just let bygones be bygones, man. You just gotta move on.
You can, man. That's not in his system. That's not in his mentality.
Yeah.
He's a cold, ruthless son of a bitch.
So yeah, that's
it's the vein of spaghetti westerns, and that's the shit I love.
That's my Tale of the Underworld review. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that.
No. I think we've voiced our very differing opinions on the matter.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on to the big kahuna.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I just realized I'm wearing my OTS Project WrestleMania 41 t-shirt. Check out the
merch.
that merch. You can get it on the
sick.
Printify, the WNRN Printify. So make sure you check that out. Shout out WNRN in general, our podcast host Jesse made this cool design. There's also a WrestleMania 24 design that he made for us that's also up, which is really cool. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, the big kahuna here, before we dive into our actual topic, as we're 40 minutes into our episode here, our last little topic, our Andor review for episodes 7, 8, and 9. We still have next week the finale, 10, 11, and 12. But I will say that as much as I thought Tales of the Underworld fucking sucked, Andor did not fucking suck. This shit,
And it was amazing.
my God.
Episode 8, I swear to God, might go down as one of the best fucking Star Wars things ever, bro.
You
That
cut out
shit
again.
had me.
What the hell is going on here?
Episode 8?
You're muted. You're not muted, but you're muted.
How am I
don't know.
muted? I see myself talking. I don't understand. I don't know if it's just on your. All right.
We should.
All right.
All right. So yeah, our Andor review. Some technical difficulties we had to bust through there real quick.
Bust it.
No,
Bust
gotcha.
it down. Drop it down for a discount.
I need to fix my headphones real quick.
My headphones aren't good anymore.
Andor. I think episode 8 may be the
It's
greatest
so good.
episode. Is that like greatest episode of Star Wars TV? It may just be like one of the greatest episodes
Yeah.
of TV I've ever seen.
It's
in
so
general.
amazing.
I don't remember much of episode 7, so maybe you might be able to fill me in more because I'm blanking on what happened.
No, I don't remember either. I gotta be honest. Episode 8 was just that good where I just don't even really remember much of what happened in episode 7. I think it just kind of set up that like Andor is now like living on Yavin
Right.
and stuff like that, and like the rebellion is really starting to pick up and build up and stuff like that, and things are more so moving
Right.
closer towards like Rogue One and A New Hope and all that kind of stuff. I think that's really just what it kind of set up.
Right. Yeah. So episode 7, we're gonna skip over a little bit. Episode 8 is in fucking sane. I already knew kind of what was coming because I had seen people talking about the Gorman massacre. Oh my god, I'm scared for next week with the Gorman massacre. Yeah, I don't know, man. So I kind of knew what was coming, but then it also was solidified once I saw basically the whole population of the damn town being marched into like the square. I was like, the Empire's gonna trap these people. This is bad. This is bad. Yeah, the whole episode is just super, super intense, man. Like the whole time I was like biting my nails, kind of thing. Like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time because I didn't know when it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know,
It really does a great job
they,
of building that suspense for sure.
yeah, they definitely drew it out throughout the whole episode of when is the Empire gonna kind of pull the trigger here. Great stuff with Deidre. As you can see, she's kind of. You can see throughout the episode, she's kind of like, "Are we really doing this?" You know what I'm saying? Like she's kind of torn a little bit, where she's like, "Are we really about to fucking do this?" But at the same time, she, had good soldiers follow orders, kind of thing. Like, guess I just got to do my job. Dude, I will say, even from season 1, Cyril is. I know that Cyril's a horrible person, but he is one of my favorite
Cyril
characters
so
in the whole
much.
show.
He's so good. He's such a
Yeah.
good character. I will say that
So
breakdown
incredible.
that Deidre had at the end of the episode, I was like, this is incredible acting.
Yeah, incredible acting. Give everybody in that
give
episode
everybody
an
an Emmy, a Grammy, everything.
So yeah, this is basically the end of Cyril's kind of story here, obviously because he's fucking shot in the head at the end. But yeah, seeing him, at first, I thought when like they say, "Oh, sir, everybody's needed at headquarters and shit," and I see him walking with the mass population, I thought he wasn't gonna make it into the building. I thought like he was gonna get there and and it was gonna be too late to get him in the building, and they already started killing people, and he was gonna get caught in the crossfire. And then when he gets there, and the one stormtrooper or whatever is like not letting him in for a second, I was like, they're just gonna. The Empire is they're horrible people. So I figured like, even when he goes that guy, he knows me. I figured that guy was gonna be like, and would just like just walk away. Like I thought Cyril was gonna be in that population, just stuck, and it's like, you find out the Empire didn't care about you, like they just let you die. So when he gets in and he confronts Deidre and he's straight choking the shit out of her, I'm like, wow, like his whole character progression was incredible throughout that whole thing, where he finally realizes that his whole life he's been so dedicated to this cause, this company almost basically, that is doing nothing but bad. They are doing nothing but horrible things. And I also want to add, I said it on X, this episode truly, we know the Empire is evil. We know it, we've seen it. But this episode truly shows you how fucking evil the Empire is.
It's very good doing that.
They wanted a resource. And they were willing to not only destroy just the population and kill innocent civilians, but they were willing to destroy the whole planet just to get some damn, what was it, stone or something like that, whatever
I
it
think
was.
it's like the silk that like those like spider things make. I think that's what it is. It's something like that.
Right.
But I want to build off that point.
Yeah, it shows you how
I want
truly.
to build off that point in where the show does a good job of making the Empire look bad. It does that on a good number of scales, because it'll do that as like a way to like, okay, this is like the Empire's like big plan. They're doing this whole thing. They're doing this whole like genocide. It also does a very good job of like making like specific characters in the Empire also appear as like evil and stuff like that. Whether it's like the top guys in the ISB or
Right.
just like little petty officers or something like that. Like that evil exists in
Right.
every level of the Empire.
Yeah, I want to say that as I check for more spiders over there, I want to say that that dude, I don't remember his name, but the guy that was like kind of like Deidre's like equal that was placed on the planet, when they started fucking killing people and they show the shot of this man starting to smile, I wanted to jump through the fucking TV. I was like fist ready, Roman Reigns super punch ready to just jump through the TV and punch that man. Credit to that actor because he did his job incredibly. But the fact that again we're just straight doing genocide and you're smiling, you're enjoying the fact that people are dying or that the Empire gets to do whatever it is. The fact that innocent people are screaming for help and you are just like smiling. That's some Dolores Umbridge levels of go fuck yourself character. Yeah. So in general, like Cyril's stuff, seeing that whole moment where he realizes his whole life has kind of just been dedicated to this horrible cause, and then all of that just wiping away the moment he sees Cassie and Andor, and he just instantly is like on sight.
When
That shit was incredible.
those two locked eyes, I was like, shit's
shit.
about to go down, bro. And even like at the very end, like before he gets shot, where he has like the gun on Andor and stuff like that, and Andor has like no idea who he is, but he's been like tracking this guy.
Cassian literally goes, "Who are you?"
Who are you? And
Right.
Steele's been like tracking this guy or trying to find out who this guy is for like years now and stuff like that. And he's
Right.
like contemplating at the very end, and then he gets shot and stuff like that. I'm like, this writing is so incredible.
So good, dude. So good. And Cyril, again, I understand he's a horrible person, but great character.
Yes.
One of my favorites throughout both seasons of the show for sure. The whole massacre in general, I don't know. I was genuinely like wiping tears from my eyes as I was watching this because it just was like so emotional, and I had to send you a voice note after the episode at like midnight, being like, "Hey, I'm just letting you know, episode 8, it's some pretty dark shit. Just mentally prep yourself," because I was not ready, even though I knew what was gonna happen. And I say it like this is one of the, if not maybe the darkest thing I've seen in Star Wars, because like you look at like Order 66, and obviously horrible. It's emotional. Anytime you or I see some version of Order 66, we're very emotional about it. But like, not that it's understandable, but it's like it was war, and the Jedi were a part of this war, and it's horrible. It's still like genocide, but in a way, you kind of think like they were all at war. Da da da. You know what I'm saying? This was straight up just innocent people that were just being straight murdered. So I think this may be like the darkest shit I've ever seen.
I know you
just
probably
for, like,
won't
that
agree with it,
purpose.
but like in Rebels and stuff like that, they kind of go into like or explain it and stuff like that. And you might not exactly like agree with this, maybe just because it's not like as an important of a level, or maybe because I know you just don't fuck with these guys. But like the Empire like wiping out everybody on Geonosis and stuff like that after like the Death Star plans get made, after all that shit, and then pretty much just wiping out that entire planet's like population and stuff like that. It's on that kind of level of just like dark evil shit that really is like incredible
for sure.
to explore.
I mean, even like not really the Empire, but still the same shit of like Dooku and Grievous like just wiping out the Night Sisters for no reason. Same shit. Like just all fucked up. But I think what really shines for me about this episode was kind of towards the end where Cassian is driving away, and you hear Will's girlfriend kind of giving like this distress call, and just the I got emotional just thinking about it. Just the emotion in her voice where she's saying, "This is just murder, help us," and you just see that shot of Cassian just like crying, like just a tear falling. I don't know. It was just really emotional stuff, and something that you don't really realize because he has plot armor is like, you know, he was gonna survive, like you know he was gonna get out of that, but when you think about it from the character's perspective, he survived that. Like he's one of the few people that made it out of that alive, that was unscathed. So him crying is probably a culmination of what he just witnessed, but also probably the fact that he probably thought he was just dead. Like he probably thought he was gonna die there.
Exactly,
and somehow
because it is like
some way,
it's exactly just like how the Empire is just completely boxing them in. It's like Where that's what I was
Right.
thinking the entire time. I'm like, how is he going to get out of this? Because they're pretty much boxing everybody in. It's like,
Yeah.
and you know he survives, but like, how do you exactly escape that sort of situation? Was something that was all in my mind the entire time.
Right. Yeah, and I also think like I thought Will was dead. I thought he was gonna die there for sure. Glad he made it out with just kind of a bullet to the leg, I guess. But I definitely thought he was done for, and I thought that was gonna be a very emotional moment for Cassian, basically seeing like almost his little brother dying. But yeah, just in general, really crazy stuff. The cage droids coming out, that was like a horror movie.
Dude, those motherfuckers
But they're
are
like,
vicious, bro. I almost put one of them on,
yeah,
under
yeah,
the team.
yeah. Just crazy, crazy stuff. And then you get to episode 9, and you see Mon Mothma basically give her
The infamous Gorman
her
speech.
denouncing the Emperor. We see a little bit of that in Rebels, which I thought was cool that they found a way to kind of tie that
Right.
all together. Which also too, when I forgot his name, but the dude from Rogue One that's like the head of Yavin or
Yeah.
whatever, he name drops like Gold Squadron, which is obviously like the Rebels crew bringing Mon Mothma to Yavin. So I thought that was cool. And then even in the end of the episode where Cassian's standing on the landing pad and the guy's like, "Yo, you got to move. We have a ship coming in." I was like, I'm gonna assume that that's the Ghost crew coming in to drop Mon Mothma. So for me, with Rebels being like my favorite thing in Star Wars, that was kind of cool to see a little references to the Ghost crew. And in my head too, I was thinking the whole time as like the stuff's happening with Cassian on Yavin, I was like, the Ghost crew are just like up there, like the Ghost crew are just in orbit, like chilling up there in space. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that episode also cooked. Yeah, the speech was incredible. I know I was critical of Jimmy Smits getting recast as Bail Organa, but I forget Benjamin something. I forgot his last name. He did a great job.
Yeah.
He's not Jimmy
No,
Schmitz,
no,
but
there's no replacing Jimmy
but,
Smits, but he's doing a good job.
right. But yeah, he did do a great job. I love that little, tear. What did he say? Tear the shit up, something like that. Something like that. I thought that was cool and very in character for Bail Organa, who's very regal and very professional, but he also has a little tinge of rebellion within him, where he always has a little, almost like a little Princess Leia in him. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's not a real dad, like a little bit of Princess Leia, where he's kind of always got a little something there. Yeah, in general, this episode was also great. Episode 8 was definitely the standout, but this episode was also great. Seeing, the speech, seeing, the kind of escape from Coruscant, which is also cool now that we know that Cassian was a very crucial part in getting Mon Mothma off the planet and kind of to the Ghost crew, and things like that. I thought her assistant was also great, which I didn't even realize is the character from Rebels. Like that character is in Rebels with her. Which is really cool. And I thought the casting was great. When you look at the side-by-side of that character in Rebels and the actor, it literally looks exactly like it literally looked exactly the same. I thought that was really great. HBO should probably take note for The Last of Us with that one. But yeah, just in general, I thought the whole episode was great as well.
Sorry.
Hey now.
Notifications.
Whoa. No, you're good. As well as the ending is probably the most emotional part where...
That shit had me tearing up. That
We're
shit had me
Bix.
tearing up, bro.
Yeah, it got me there too. We're Bix. At first, I saw people talk about this. I don't know if you thought the same way. At first, when I was watching her like goodbye note, I thought it was a suicide note.
I did not think that.
I thought she, because we see throughout the episode throughout the season that she's mentally not doing okay and that she's dealing with a lot of trauma and PTSD. So for a split second, I thought, oh no, did this girl like go out into the woods and like hang herself or something? And this is her suicide note. Luckily, that was not the case, but I thought it was about to get really dark there for a second. But yeah, very emotional stuff. Her saying goodbye to Cassian because she knows if she stays that he's going to leave the rebellion and he has too much responsibility. That Force, whatever the hell chick that was able to kind of see his future, saying that he's a messenger and he has somewhere to be. Obviously, that lady watched Rogue One.
she nailed it on that. She got it.
Right. She definitely went and saw Rogue One when it came out or something. So yeah, I think that was obviously Bix's big thing is that this lady says he has a point here, he has a purpose here, he needs to stay here. And I think that was Bix's kind of.
That was one of the things I was thinking about too, watching these episodes. Is like, because obviously like Cassian gets with Jin at like the end of Rogue One, stuff like that. So I'm like, with Bix being such an important part of his life, I was always just kind of like wondering like, what's gonna happen. At first, I was like, okay, she's obviously gonna die somehow, like tragically, like by the
Right.
Empire or something like that, obviously, or something like that. But this was such a very creative way of going about it, especially because like now it's like prevalent to where there are like now multiple characters both in this show and just throughout Star Wars that are like putting the rebellion before like their own like relationships and like love and stuff like that, which I think is incredibly powerful stuff.
Right. And I hope that wasn't the last that we see of Bix.
Right, of course.
I hope within these last 3 episodes, I hope we do kind of. I don't want to see like obviously I don't want a reunion with Cassie, and that would defeat
Right.
the purpose. But for us, from our point of view, I would like to see where she ended up and what she's doing. Because I also thought like she's not the type to just go sit somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I would imagine she went to that head dude or whatever at Yavin and said, "Here's the situation. I need to leave, but I still want to help." And so I thought it was probably more rather not her just going and finding a random planet to live on, and more so them giving her a task on a different planet and not telling Cassian what it is. So I would like to see what she's doing and where she ended up, whether that's in one of the episodes or maybe some sort of kind of post-credit scene of just a little tease to see that she's okay. I did see some people say that she went back for B2. I hope that happened. I hope she went and got B2, and they're living happily together on a planet.
She's gonna be on Scarif. That's where she's gonna end up.
Right. She actually went to Alderaan. Bail Organa put her on Alderaan and gave her a nice pad, and then she dies. No, but it would be cool if we find out that she went back and got B2, and they were on some planet.
After like 2 or 3 years of abandoning him.
Right. But yeah, I've always felt bad for that poor droid from season 1. He just gets so horribly mistreated by Cassian and whatnot. So yeah, I hope B2 gets a little happy ending. He gets to be with Bix somewhere, and they're farmers or something like that, or she's a farmer and he helps her, something like that. But yeah, we have the last 3 episodes. I can't wait to see. We obviously know that these last 3 episodes, they've confirmed it, that these last 3 episodes, the last episode ends minutes before Rogue One begins. So definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Maybe we see some characters pop up or something like that. Yeah, I'm very excited. The show has been incredible. Both seasons of the show have been incredible. So I'm super excited to see where it ends and how they tie it almost pretty much directly into the movie. And I also am excited because at some point we're going to end up rewatching Rogue One with Rachel. So I'm excited to get to that point to where now we've seen both seasons of the show, and then pretty much shortly after, within a few weeks, we're going to end up watching Rogue One again. We'll have a new outlook on that movie with everything we know about Cassian. So super excited for that. So yeah, we are an hour into this podcast. We have not talked about our topic. So we're gonna dive into that, but quickly before that, we have our songs of the week. So Theo, what's your quick song of the week?
Song of the week. My song of the week is gonna be "Ventura Highway" by America and George Martin.
All right.
It's fucking a banger, bro. I like jazz music is like my 1. 70s like yacht rock, all that stuff. That's like my 2. That's like my 2. I love that shit so much, and this is like one of the best ones. Best songs, I'd say. It's definitely up there for sure. I think the like guitar intro has to be like one of the best intros to any song of all time. It's so like soothing and melodic. It's beautiful, and like the song itself, it has such great lyrics. It's so not. It's like one of those like perfect like go for a drive songs. You know. It's very good.
I have not heard it.
Oh my god, I have to send it to you. It's so good.
Yeah. My sorry, I got a dog here. I got a lot of distractions going on.
Dogs and spiders and shit.
Dogs and spiders. Hell yeah. I haven't seen a spider in a minute though, so that's good. My song of the week is going to be "The Ghost of You" by My Chemical Romance. I'm not a huge My Chemical Romance guy. I have a couple songs of theirs in the playlist. I know "Teenagers" by them is obviously its intro too, so I kind of grew up with that song. And "The Black Parade" is obviously a huge song. This song is kind of a departure from what they normally do. It's kind of more I don't want to say slow, but it's definitely more, I don't know, maybe intense or something like that. Um, yeah, it's just been something I've been listening to for the past couple months. I think it's a really, really good song. So yeah, that's my song of the week is "The Ghost of You" by My Chemical Romance. You and I have very similar like music tastes in the fact that we just kind of like to listen to anything, and we've had millions of car rides where we're listening to Disney songs or Phil Collins or Gambino, but we also have separate tastes where you're listening to jazz and yacht rock, and I'm listening to like metal, not necessarily metal, but like a lot of rock and probably more rap than you and stuff like that. So it is interesting where we do like a lot of the same stuff, but we also have our
That tends
own
to be a case
musical
with a
tastes
lot
as
of
well.
things that we really get into.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a cool connection. So, all right, it's been long enough.
In a literal
Let us
hour.
dive into our actual topic. Little hour. So if you're still with us,
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much.
you. It's just a lot of
Sorry it took this long.
not even a lot of news, just a lot of discussion there. A lot of stuff happened in the past week. So, yeah. So yeah, I wanted to do something different here, and I have a couple other ideas for how we can also do this with other things like Marvel. But I figured we'll start with Star Wars. It's May the 4th was this past weekend. Yeah, so we're gonna do basically like almost like a Survivor Series kind of style gimmick here, where we've chosen 5 Star Wars characters to be on our teams, and I don't know how we're fully gonna do this. I'm still trying to process how to do this, but basically it's gonna be a 5-on-5 battle royale, no build, where where yeah, we're gonna have 5 characters and we're gonna kind of figure out between our 2 teams. So here's the thing, we kind of have to put egos aside. This has to be like you have your 5 people, I have my 5 people, and we have to really just egos aside, just whose team would win. No bias, no personal bias, nothing, just straight up between the 2 teams who would win. So we have to reveal our teams.
I wanna point out that like I am envisioning like this 5v5. For some reason, I've always just kind of been envisioning it on like Camino and like that like rainy like platform.
Really?
I don't know why. It just seems like the coolest place to have a big ass fight.
I have a totally different view. As I was imagining this, where for some reason I was imagining this fight on Lothal in like the wheat fields.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Just like a giant field. Like there's nowhere to hide. You know what I'm saying? Just a giant kind of field. But there's a character on here. Maybe this is why I'm thinking Lothal, because
I also have a character that is making me think
would make
Camino.
sense.
So I guess it happens there.
All right. So do you have a team leader? Because I have a team
leader. Ooh. You know what? I don't necessarily. There's not like an exact leader. I can make one of my guys a team leader, and it would work in this situation.
Okay. So I will reveal my first person who is my team leader, and then you can reveal your team leader. My team leader is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi from episode 3. Episode 3, probably more specifically, because that's probably where he's Jedi-wise or military-wise is probably where he's his wisest. Right. But yeah, I just think he obviously, they got through the whole Clone Wars with him essentially leading Anakin and Ahsoka, even though Anakin likes to do his own thing. He was still, listening to Obi-Wan for the most part. So episode 3, Obi-Wan is going to be my leader of the team. I just think military-wise, he's smart, but he's not aggressive. He's not dumb. You know what I'm saying? He's very wise with how he's going to be strategic about how he's going to slaughter the rest of your team. So, yeah, my leader is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, specifically from episode 3.
Great. This is great. I'm already really liking it. So I want to come out and say before I like reveal all my members. There obviously was like the opportunity to just like make the most OP team ever, but I was like, that's no fun. That's not going to be any fun or anything like that.
Right.
So I want to dial it back a little bit.
Let me get Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Darth
Plagueis,
Yoda, Darth Nihilus. He can eat planets. Palpatine,
Star Killer.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, I'm going to avoid doing that just so we can actually have a little bit more fun and strategic conversation about this. And in I guess celebration of Tales of the Underworld, my team is essentially like a bounty hunter team.
Oh yeah, you're dead.
I don't know.
You're slaughtered. No, bro, you're slaughtered.
I don't know. We got to talk about it. So out of celebration for that, my team leader is obviously going to be Cad Bane, obviously.
Oh, you're cooked, bud. Rest in peace, Jack's team. See you later, buddy.
Can we clip it back 30 seconds ago to where we can be like, yeah, no, egos aside, preferences aside.
I'm just saying, strategically, knowing my team, I'm pretty sure you're fucked if all your team it's just a bunch of bounty hunters.
You'll have to see. You'll have to see. So obviously, Cad Bane, I think he's got a lot of equipment up his sleeve. He's got a lot of stuff up his sleeve. He's also very strategic and stuff like that, but he's a lot more cunning. He's a lot more slippery. I think he can definitely dance around a few of your guys, if your guys are who I think your guys are going to be. And I think he's going to be the good team leader for this team.
All right, so I'm going to reveal my second team member here. This when I said I was picturing Lothal, this is the character that kind of fits this specifically because of, like Ezra's watchtower. I'm putting Crosshair on that fucking watchtower, bud, and he is sniping the shit out of all your people. You are cooked.
Hold on now.
Just leave.
No, hold on. Let me get there. I do have a secondary member, but I think I'm going to save it because I want to put this guy up there because I think he's just going to be a great deterrent for Crosshair. Django Fett. That's my second.
Ooh, he's got a
jetpack. Beskar armor. That blaster ain't going to do dick to his armor. He's flying around Crosshair. Right. And he's got a lot of other good shit too. Right. Here's
my wild card pick that you're probably going to laugh at. But I feel like she definitely she has a purpose here, but her purpose may be a sacrificial purpose. We would have to see if she could just hold her own. So my next character is going to be Shin Hati.
Ooh,
I think she could be sacrificial in the way that she's just very inexperienced. I want to
reveal member because I feel like this would be a dream match. I feel like this would be a dream match right here. Shin Hati, Asajj Ventress. Tell me that shit would not be banging. Tell me that shit would not be banging, bro.
Fire. Yeah, so Shin Hati could be sacrificial just because of the inexperience she has, but she seems very like when we watch Ahsoka and the stuff that she does with Balin, she's just very like openly understanding of his. I don't want to say his plan, but like when he says something, she does it. There's no questioning, and so I feel like that would be a good part of the team, especially with Obi-Wan as the leader. I feel like her and Obi-Wan, if she's in line with Obi-Wan, it might be that could be Obi-Wan's dream Padawan. Right. Just do what I ask. But also, my last two characters on this list could also help direct her and help guide her in a good way. So, yeah, Shin Hati is my
next member is like I said, Asajj Ventress. I think the two of them, even if it was just the two of them in a 1v1, I feel like that matchup would be sick as hell. Yeah. I think they have some very similar kind of combat styles. Obviously, as this is like a bounty hunter team, I'm more so envisioning like bounty hunter yellow lightsaber, Asajj Ventress. But I mean, she's still got like those double lightsabers. Still trained by Count Dooku, who's like one of the fucking most best duelists among the Jedi Order. And she also is very like smart and tactical. And I feel like she her journey through like Clone Wars and then like Tales of the Underworld and stuff like that and Bad Batch. I feel like she's like learned a lot of like very good lessons as well as like how to be like tactical as well as to be like a great fighter and still like I think she's got a lot of stuff in her kit as well as like things she's learned throughout her life that she can use very well in this battle.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. My next member, so when I went through this and I'm making my list, I didn't want to just pick my favorites even though a lot of these characters are my favorites. But I also realized, yes, some of these characters are my favorites, but they have they would be good in a situation like this. So my next character is Kanan Jarrus. Okay. I just think, genuinely, by his death in the End of Rebels, I think he, even though there is no Jedi Order, I think he's one of the best Jedi ever, just because of what he learned from Bendu and things like that throughout his journey. I think he's very spiritual. He's very connected. I think him and Obi-Wan would be like this, bro. I think they would be fucking locked in together. Yeah. They would be possibly one of the greatest Star Wars duos ever, just because I feel like they have such similar mindsets. As well as Kanan is just a really good warrior. He's good with a lightsaber, things like that. So yeah, Kanan Jarrus is gonna be my next member.
My next character I think is gonna be the most underrated bounty hunter in all of Star Wars. I don't know if you know too much about
Embo.
It is Embo, yes. I was about to say, you don't know.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Dude, he's so fucking badass, bro. I swear, he's like a combination of Kung Lao and Captain America. And he has Chewbacca's gun.
Okay.
And it's like, how do you beat this? He's such a fucking badass. He's super fast, super agile. He can bounce around and shit. He's got that bowcaster, which is obviously going to pack a punch. I mean, we've seen it hit like Kylo Ren and knock that motherfucker down.
Right.
Badass hand-to-hand fighter. That hat obviously is like going to be a key part of like his tool set and stuff like that, where he could pretty much like throw that thing around like Captain America's shield. And it is I don't know if you do know, but technically like that thing can take a good few blaster bolts too. Before that, it is like a shield pretty much, essentially, that he wears on the top of his head. That's why I'm like, it's like a
Gotcha.
Kung Lao Captain America like crossover here. But he's super sick.
I don't know too much about him. I honestly, he just popped in my head because I was watching this TikTok of these girls that did a Star Wars Hear Me Out cake, and 2 girls put Embo on.
And there's a good reason for that. It's because Embo's a fucking badass.
So I don't know why he just popped in my head, but yeah. All right, my last guy here is, I feel like, pretty predictable. I'm going Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one. Impulsive, yes. Maybe a little dumb. However, he always seems to find a way, at least in the Clone Wars, he always seems to find a way to make it through. As well as he still, even though he is impulsive, he still has a good relationship with Obi-Wan. Even though he doesn't directly listen to him a lot, he still does have a good relationship with Obi-Wan. And I feel like sometimes you need for the way I'm looking at my list, you got 2 Jedi that are very calm. You got Crosshair, who is kind of off doing his own thing, and Shin, who's basically just like the learner, who's just going to be like listening. So I feel like I needed a little bit of aggression. I need a little bit of rage, and so that's where Anakin's going to come in. He's going to be the aggressor of this whole situation. So that's my team, my leader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kanan Jarrus, Shin Hati, Crosshair, and the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker.
We've saved our powerhouses for last, it seems, because I kind of have a similar thing going on here. But I don't know if you remember. There's not much on him. I will say this. This was definitely a little more of a... This is definitely ball knowledge if there ever kind of was some.
Are you about to drop fucking
I'm about
Dirge?
to drop Dirge, baby. Let's go. He is canon. I want to start off by saying he is a canon character. They introduced him in the comics a few years back, so he is canon. But this...
And there's a similar... in Survivor, the dude that's with
Ravis.
Dagan I think is the same.
At first, I was like, should I pick Ravis?
Yeah.
And then I looked at Dirge, and I'm like, Dirge is way fucking cool. I'm picking Dirge. He's going to be my tank. He's going to be the guy that is just going straight in there. Especially with you having like so many Jedi characters, I feel like he's got to be the guy up front, pretty much like the Hulk in this situation, but with regenerative limbs and a shit ton of cannons and armor and shit. So he's definitely going to be my front runner, my guy charging in there first, for sure.
All right.
Oh, let me go over
So
my
what's your
whole
full
team before we really get into it.
Yeah.
Team leader Cad Bane, Asajj Ventress, Jango Fett, Embo, and Dirge.
All right. So how are we booking this? Is the question. This is where it's going to get
You've picked
interesting.
Lothal for a location. I don't know if I want to agree with that location too much. I mean, it does kind of work to where it's like a giant open field and whatnot.
Right. Again, I really just picked it so that Crosshair had some place to stake out. But I feel like even on Camino, there's probably still some sort of place that he could be off.
Right,
from
exactly.
Kind of sniping.
We
So no matter where we go, I just need Crosshair to be up somewhere away from everybody. That's all I need.
That's kind of where I have Embo in a similar situation. I kind of have him acting as like a mobile sniper almost, to where he can kind of like move around and shit, but he's like off in the distance, obviously, like sniping people with the bowcaster and whatnot. So he's in a similar situation. Maybe not exactly up, but like he can kind of just be like versatile like anywhere, pretty much.
Right. I would say we were saying Shin Hati versus Asajj Ventress, which would be awesome. But I feel like Obi-Wan would be like, yeah, Shin's gonna get cooked, so we need to like. So I feel like Obi-Wan would actually direct Anakin to go after Ventress. I feel like there's a history there.
Right.
Anakin probably wants a little bit of revenge for just the Clone Wars in general and what hell they went through with her. So I feel like Obi-Wan would be like, Anakin, I'm gonna need you to get to Ventress because she's probably just gonna chop Shin's head off if she gets the chance. So I feel like in a way it almost would be kind of protecting Shin a little bit. I feel like Obi-Wan would put Shin as kind of the, like, you got to find a way to like protect Crosshair a little bit. So maybe Shin is with Crosshair to kind of help. Like if you're saying Jango Fett is flying around and Crosshair only has a sniper, I feel like again Obi-Wan would probably know that. So I feel like he might put Shin with Crosshair to kind of protect him. You know what I'm saying? And kind of deflect those blaster bullets back at Django a little bit.
I'm gonna be honest. You're kind of leaving you're kind of leaving your leader a little bit open here. If Anakin's going after Ventress and Shin's going to be protecting Crosshair, I mean he's kind of on his own.
Well, we're not standing in one place here. Everybody's
Well, no,
moving
I
around.
get that, but like, where do you put him in this scenario if you're having your main guy go off and then having two people be together in the back, sort of situation?
Well, I think not so much that Anakin is go. Okay, so look, if Shin is up on the tower with Crosshair, and Ventress, you're saying is targeting Shin, right? I think what we're really doing is Anakin's not necessarily going off. It's more Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Kanan are blocking the entrance to the tower, and your team has to just get to them.
I have
So it's
Dirge.
not like
What are you gonna do? He can just not.
Obi-Wan is taking Dirge. Obi-Wan, I feel like, is probably the only one that can, like, strategic. Like, you could say Anakin can
Right.
fight Dirge, but Anakin is too impulsive and too
Okay.
aggressive. Obi-Wan would fight Dirge, but again, he would be aggressive with it, but he would be smart, and he would know when to kind of fall back a little bit, or, you know what I'm saying? So I would say Obi-Wan, as the leader, is going, I'm
Also,
going after the big
it
guy.
kind of doesn't exactly work. If I do have Jango Fett, he can just go over the door. He could just go to the top of the tower. Look at Cad
Yeah,
Bane
but you
too.
got
Technically,
Shin up
he
there
has the
kind of
fucking
deflecting.
he has little rocket boots. They both could just go up there.
Hey, you know, bro, I don't want to be that guy. Cad Bane's dead, bro. I hate to break it to you. Cad Bane's fucking dead.
How are you?
Cad Bane is not lasting. He's not lasting like more than 10 minutes in this fight. I'm pretty sure. I'm just being honest. Once my guys are blocking this area, your team has to get to them. You have one person with a lightsaber. The rest have blasters, which I will give you. Embo has a pretty powerful blaster, but like all Cad Bane has is kind of a normal blaster. I think Kanan Jarrus is chopping that alien's fucking head off, bro.
I don't
Just
think
being
you know
honest with you.
Cad Bane's toolkit, brother. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Maybe I don't. But also, I do want to say, from your team's point of view, Cad Bane is your leader, and he's got a bunch of people that are not going to listen to him. Like, you put a bunch of bad guys on one team together, I don't know how well Cad Bane is going to be able to lead this
Cad
team
Bane
because they're all
has
going to be
led
like, nah,
multiple teams
I'm going to do
of
my
bounty
own thing.
hunters before across both Clone Wars and comics.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't fully watched it, but I feel like chances are a lot of those team members probably don't make it out alive. I feel like there's a situation where Cad Bane is doing the heist, and either he purposely turns on them so he can keep the score type deal, or it just starts falling apart and the heist goes awry. Just because, again, I don't
You
know,
say
but I'm
awry?
just saying like that's. I meant like awry, like it goes to hell.
It's a piece of rye bread.
Because that's how most heists go in any medium. Is it normally goes to shit. So I'm saying strategically from your point of view, I don't know how well it's being led if they probably either A, aren't listening to them, or Cad Bane. At the end of the day, Cad Bane is going to be out for himself. So if he's leading a team and it starts going to hell, I think Cad Bane may just leave. he may just get on the ship and get the fuck out of there and leave the rest of your team
Might.
stranded.
It's entirely. It is technically a part of his character to be kind of like slippery and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like he can.
Right.
He's danced with Jedi's before and he's made it out alive. I think he can definitely still
But as he danced with 3 Jedi blocking,
have
doors.
those 3 Jedi fucked with Dirge before. I don't fucking think so.
Obi-Wan's got it.
You
Obi-Wan's
can't
got it
leave
on lock.
one Jedi to this guy. He's gonna fucking just knock Obi-Wan
No.
around.
Obi-Wan's got it on
No.
lock.
I don't think so.
Obi-Wan's got it on lock. I think so. Kanan Jarrus here. I haven't said anything about Kanan Jarrus, probably because I'm kind of half confused on where we even are
Right.
at this point. But
You've based your entire situation around this tower in Lothal. You've
Yeah.
taken up a defensive stance.
the true core of my team is Crosshair.
I swear, it really is, and it's also not that
Yeah.
like great of a plan considering with the fact that not only do I also have my own sniper, who has a fucking hat that can deflect laser bolts. I also have a guy in Beskar armor flying around, also shooting a crosshair at the same time.
I don't know, man.
I don't think Crosshair's living. Honestly, out of everybody on that team, I think Crosshair is in a similar situation.
He's being
with Cad Bane.
protected. I don't know. He's being protected, bro. He's got a lightsaber like shield over him essentially with Shin deflecting bullets that are coming at him.
Jango Fett has fucking missiles, bro. He has missiles. He has
I
a
don't know,
fucking
man.
flamethrower. I think there's a lot in Jango Fett's
I don't
toolkit
know.
that you are underutilizing here.
I think
Especially with how
if I'm
inexperienced
looking at my
Shin
team,
is. Like, I get that she has like the lightsabers and stuff like that, but like Jango Fett is a seasoned bounty hunter with a great toolkit.
I think I think what happens here is what really happens here is I think your team wins, but simply because of Dirge. I think I think what happens is Cad Bane leaves. Cad Bane's gone once shit gets real hairy like if he sees maybe like Ventress drop, if Ventress dies, I think Cad Bane's
Yeah.
out. I think he's
Yeah.
like, oh fuck this shit. So if we kill off Ventress, which I feel like could probably happen,
If
because
it is her and
is
Anakin, I
probably
will
just
give it to
stronger than
Anakin.
her.
Anakin wins that fight.
Right. So if Ventress is dead, I think Cad Bane's out. So we take your leader, who's just gonna abandon all of them, and then Embo. I don't know. Like again, I don't know too much about him, but if he where is he off? So like Crosshair's on a tower.
Embo,
Where's
I
Embo?
have far
I
in the
don't
back.
like
I have
because
him
you
like
said
in the fucking cornfields, almost using it like kind of like as
okay.
a disguise. But he can move around pretty quickly.
So we're essentially pairing
Yeah,
Crosshair and Embo up,
they're
even though
it's
Embo's in a
sniper versus
field.
sniper. Pretty much.
Crosshair is Crosshair is sniping at Embo. Okay. So I don't know if either of them die at that point. I feel like they're just two dumbasses just shooting at each other for no reason.
I don't like. That's the thing too about it is like the bowcaster is not essentially like a sniper. It's a heavy blaster. He's using it as a sniper, but it's not like an effective sniper. Crosshair's sniper is
Right.
very effective, but if Embo's moving
Never.
around very
That's all he's
quickly
got.
with a bulletproof hat in like this very tall cornfield, I don't think Crosshair's going to be able to really hit him.
Well, sure, but we could say you say he's got a bulletproof hat, but who says Crosshair's going for the head? He could be
How
straight.
can
just
Crosshair
trying
see
to,
where he's aiming
like,
at if Embo's hiding in a cornfield?
I feel like you'd still be able to see him, bro. The shit's not that tall.
It's not that tall, but I feel like
It's more just yellow grass rather than an actual cornfield. So I feel like Crosshair would still be able to shoot at him. And again, you don't have to shoot at his head. You can shoot him in the leg and at least kind of put him out. You know what I'm saying? Like put him out of commission in a way. So I feel like chances are that probably happens. Even though Embo's fast as fuck, I'm fast as fuck, boy.
he
I
still
feel like
also
Crosshair
has to
probably
deal with
shoots him in the
Jango
leg or some
Fett
shit.
flying around, also shooting it. Even if he has Shin Hati as like a lightsaber shield, that's still like incoming fire.
Okay, fuck this shit. Shin is jumping off the tower onto Jango Fett's
Dude,
backpack.
no.
Yeah. She's
That's
going
so
crazy.
stupid. What?
All right,
You
so
you put
where
Shin
we're at,
in this
Ventress-
position to be protected, and then you're having her jump off of the fucking tower. If she misses
All right, so-
Jango Fett, not only does she have that giant fucking drop, she's dropping straight onto Dirge, bro.
Hold on. Here's another thing, though. Shin can use the Force, so what's stopping Shin from at least
This is
stopping
also
Jango
true.
from
This is
moving
also true.
for a
But
second?
you got it.
Like, if she stops him with the Force and then
You
jumps
also
on him.
kind of have to
then-
know that Obi-Wan also went up against Jango Fett, and Jango Fett did win that fight. And he's like one of the most experienced Jedi versus this very inexperienced
Yep,
Sith
that's
apprentice.
true.
I think,
All right, so Ventress is dead.
yeah,
Ventress is dead.
we're gonna say Ventress is dead.
Cad Bane left. Cad Bane said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." He left to go save himself. So you're down to Embo and Dirge. Is that it?
Embo,
Or you have
Dirge,
somebody-
and Jango.
Oh, Jango. Right. Jango Fett's killing Shin. I'll let you.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Jango Fett kills Shin. Crosshair. Crosshair may also die
Yeah.
just because
It-
Jango
it's a
Fett
yeah.
kills Shin. So we're down to Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Kanan versus Jango, Dirge, and
Yeah.
Embo. Now Embo's far as
Yeah.
fuck away, so Embo's gonna join the fight, but he has to
does
get
have
there.
to.
So it's gonna be
He can still
minute
keep a
before
good
he
distance. He still has
gets-
the bowcat. He can still keep a good distance. I'm not saying that bowcast is going to be very effective
Right.
against 3 experienced Jedi with lightsabers, but it is still like a pressure.
right. So I think Kanan Jarrus is going after Jango Fett. I think they're splitting
Okay.
off once Crosshair and Shin are dead. It's Kanan Jarrus versus Jango, and then it's Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dirge with
In the back.
Embo kind of doing
Yeah.
the support. I don't know. where we go from here.
That seems like a pretty decent stalemate. I'm going to be honest.
Right. We're kind of
Yeah.
cooked here. Okay, so if we look at Kanan and
Right.
Jango Fett, I feel like Jango
I
Fett's
feel like
dead.
he is too.
I feel like
Just because
Django
I feel
has
like he's probably used a lot of that arsenal that he has against Shin and Crosshair, even with like the support
right.
fire from Embo.
He
I
may
feel
be
like
out of
he's probably like out of
missiles,
missiles. He may be out like
things like that.
flamethrower fuel or something like that. So
Right.
I can give you
So
Kanan over Django there in
right,
that situation.
right. So here's my thing. So Kanan takes Django out. So you have Embo out there. They know Embo's out there. Kanan takes out Django, and then I feel like it becomes Kanan
Right.
versus Embo. Which
I
again,
don't know that
I
one.
feel like
I'm. It may be bias or ego, but I might give that one to Embo. I'm gonna be honest.
all right, we'll do this. Embo throws a bomb down, but then they both end up dying.
So it's just Dirge versus Obi-Wan and Anakin. Then essentially is where we're left at.
Right, right, yes. And I don't know what happened.
That's true.
Because Dirge is strong as fuck. Dirge has
He's
regenerative
got
things.
cannons, literal
But-
fucking cannons all over his armor. He has regenerative
Right.
everything.
But he's facing two of the best Jedi ever, who both were basically culminated in a war. Like these may be your two best
Right.
Jedi when it
Yeah.
comes to war, because they probably saw the most action during the Clone Wars. So I don't know, because as me, and again, maybe it's the bias, but part of me wants to say they win just because they're Jedi. But I don't know how you kill Dirge. So
Well, I mean, like, if we want to go off of like, I know it's technically not canon, but if we want to go off like the original like Clone Wars animated show, like Obi-Wan
Right.
technically does like defeat him in battle. I mean, he does have like 24 clone troopers with him at the same time, but I feel like Anakin makes
Right.
up for that power balance as well. So it could be a situation where like they don't necessarily kill him; they can probably just like attack him enough to where like he's so scattered and in like a million pieces to where by the time he does like regenerate, they're already far gone.
right, they already are like, we want go.
Get out of there. That
Okay.
That's the only situation
So-
where I see they can actually like beat Dirge is just by technicality.
Right. Right. All right. So I feel like I feel like my team does win, but it's more not because my team is just better or because I'm trying to be like, oh, my team wins. I think it strategically is more just you've got 4 out of 5 people here who have lightsabers and can use
Right.
the Force, compared to some bounty hunters that have a bunch of arsenal and things like that. But like you said, throughout the battle, they're using their arsenal, and certain ones like like Jango Fett. Sure, he flies around, but if someone we saw what happened with
Yeah.
Mace Windu and him.
Even
You know what I'm saying? He
jetpack
flies
fuel
around,
runs
but
out
once he
and
was
stuff like
grounded,
that.
he was cooked. Right. So I do feel like team Team Jedi and Crosshair
Team Jedi, yeah,
essentially
exactly.
win, but I think this is a battle.
It's a
for the
very
ages.
close
I
battle.
think this would
Like,
be
this
a
really could have
crazy-
went either way.
crazy
I
battle.
think.
Right. So to recap, if I can remember everything, so teams start Crosshair and Shin are on the tower at Lothal, with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Kanan essentially guarding the door. Ventress is going after Shin, but Anakin kind of cuts her off and pairs off with her for a little bit. Django is going after Crosshair with Shin protecting. Anakin essentially kills Ventress after a hard-fought battle. Ventress is dead. Cad Bane,
Sees that leaves.
in character, totally within character, sees that, goes, fuck this shit, I'm out, and gets on the ship and leaves. Then Jango Fett ends up taking down Shin and Crosshair, probably with just
Yeah,
probably
just
just
like
a missile.
a missile
takes
would probably
both of
just
them
do
out with
it.
a missile. The whole tower comes down.
He destroys the whole tower.
Right. The whole tower comes
Oh my
down.
god! Hold on. Can
Um,
you imagine? Like, it's not realistic because it's just like a little like backpack rocket. If that tower comes down
Yeah.
and there's like a bunch of like smoke and debris everywhere, and Dirge is fighting these fucking Jedi through the smoke, that's a sick fucking vision. That's all I'm saying.
Hell yeah. And all you can see is the color of the
Right?
lightsabers.
Exactly. Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Kind of like a Qui-Gon Obi-Wan
Yes.
thing in Phantom Menace. Yeah. So yeah, tower comes down. Shin and Crosshair are dead, or at least severely injured on
Right.
Shin's part, to where she's out of the fight. Kanan, Obi-Wan, and Anakin see that, and Obi-Wan essentially goes, "Oh fuck! All right, Kanan, take out the fucking jetpack, asshole." So Kanan goes after Jango Fett again, It might be a little bit of a challenge, but like you said, jetpack fuel kind of runs out. His arsenal's probably gone, for the most part at least. And I feel like even if he has some of his arsenal left, he doesn't have it all. So even if he used something, I feel like Kanan could get around it. One rocket is different than like five rockets, you know. So I feel like Kanan could get around it and essentially end up finding a way to cut down Jango Fett. So Jango Fett's out. Kanan then sets his sight on Embo. So they're going at it while Anakin and Obi-Wan are still holding whatever line is left against Dirge.
Dirge at this point does not care. He's just trying to kill motherfuckers.
Right. Dirge is probably over it at this point. He just wants to go home at this point. So Kanan and Embo are going at it. And did we agree on the fact that Embo throws a bomb?
It's a double suicide, I guess, technically, if like a thermal detonator or something.
I'll say Embo throws a bomb towards Kanan. Kanan uses force pull and pulls Embo in with him. Not necessarily trying to kill him with the bomb, but maybe at the same time he force pulls Embo as he throws it. But he force pulls Embo more so just to get at him while Embo throws the bomb and they both get
He's
caught
trying
in
to
the
force
explosion.
pull like the grenade out of the air, and he just accidentally force pulls Embo instead.
Right. So they're both again
Double
dead or severely injured, and they're out of the fight. Coming down to Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dirge, and then like you said, very hard fought battle. Dirge is fucking, holding his own against two of the best Jedi ever. But it gets to a point where Anakin and Obi-Wan just kind of overwhelm him, cut him up into pieces, and Anakin and Obi-Wan go, well, that's a victory royale for us, so we're getting the fuck out of here before Dirge can piece himself back together. And that's the fight. So Team Jedi, Shin, and Crosshair win with a very hard-fought battle. Do we think since Cad Bane left, since Cad Bane left, Dirge is just stranded on Lothal now?
Yes. He goes on to conquer Lothal because no one can stop him.
I was gonna say, since I don't know too much about him, does he just set his sight on the city and just start killing people?
I don't think he's like he's like a
pieces
serial
himself together.
murderer. I think he is still like that kind of like bounty hunter-esque, and where he's just gonna like do jobs and stuff like that. But like, I would fuck around it. I would like to see him just take over the city. I'd fuck around with it.
All right.
Especially if it's like Imperial occupation, just like destroying all the Empire and just taking over the city for the fuck of it.
Right. So So actually, Dirge becomes the hero.
Dirge is the hero of
as Lothal is taken over. He's taken over by the Empire. Dirge comes through and actually sets everybody free. So that's how you keep your team looking strong at the end. Is that Dirge ends up helping everybody and he ends up freeing Lothal.
Dirge wins in the long run.
Yeah. So there we go. So my team kind of wins. We're gonna have to do this
very
again
good teams.
with
Very
again.
good teams.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna have to do this again, with like Marvel and stuff. But I definitely want to do this more too with Star Wars characters and making it to where we can't pick the same. Like once we use the character in our once we've used our like certain characters in a fight, we can't use them again. I know we said like, can we pick the same people in different eras? So I'm not sure if we could pick the same character from a different era or not. That's something we would have to discuss. But in general, I would say we definitely have to do this more with Star Wars as well as like doing like a Marvel and a DC version. I had it in the notes probably towards November if we do this again, but we do an actual straight up like Survivor Series like fantasy book where we do a 5-on-5 kind of WWE thing where we pick 5 people and make like a tag match. But yeah, we appreciate y'all watching. This is kind of the end of the episode. We don't have much left to say here, other than Cad Bane's a bitch because he left his team.
Cad Bane survived.
The Jedi stand tall, and Dirge is the new leader of Lothal.
What a random situation to put Dirge in.
Right. So we appreciate you watching or listening. I do want to know, like, put in the comments what you thought of this. If you liked it and you want to see more of it, we plan on doing more of it. But if it's something that's really taking off and everybody likes it, we'll definitely make it a point to do more of it more recently.
Give
but also comment what you think.
Maybe give your teams.
Maybe
see like.
But I was also gonna say comment like what you think of this fight. If you think something doesn't line up or you think a different outcome might happen. I'm
maybe
definitely
Shin
open to
Hati takes over Lothal.
What people? maybe. So definitely comment your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas of how the fight would go on your end. And yeah, I guess that's it. Shout out to WNRN. Get some merch like this cool WrestleMania 41 shirt or WrestleMania 24 shirt. We have like a Power Rangers design up as well, like a Power Rangers Wild Force design up, things like that. Check out the WNRN. I think it's a Shopify or Printify or something like that. And yeah, with that, we will see you in the next episode.